Okay, welcome back. So, this is a continuation of the last video you just watched. In the last video, I did a rundown of what I'm going to be showing you here, what I'm going to perform as the demo. All right. So let's get into it. In the next bit now, I am going to inspect the data as you can see. So in front of you, what are you seeing now? This is the task we have at hand. Now, like I said in the introduction of this particular case study 3, the consultants are expected to send in their data, then the central team, whoever they are supposed to be ingesting the data that the different consultants are sending in. So in our case, it's just 3 consultants, but in your case, it could be hundreds of consultants, millions of consultants spread across a region or a country or the continent, or a continent. Now, what do you see in front of you? So in front of you, as you can see, what you have here is what I call the main table. So in the main table, as you can see, we're trying to see how, like I said, the consultant I ingest, trying to ingest into Microsoft Dynamics 365, right? We're going to inspect the table now, and this is the table. So this main table, as you can see, the name is project columns and just project columns. Let me just put it that way, because the columns and data is just kind of Microsoft Dynamics way of telling you where you are. So this is a snapshot of Microsoft Dynamics Dataverse, the back end. I'm going to show you as we go along. So stick with me. This is a really complex, ingestion process into Microsoft Dynamics 365, but I'm going to make it super simple for you. Now, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 key columns. Then number 9, we call this kind of this is the primary key, and this is the GUID field. Now, we're not going to be touching this GUID field because this is the core problem with Dynamics 365 Dataverse. Now, this process will not be using this, and this is the core problem if you need to ingest using the GUID field. You'll need something like Power Automate or Azure Data Factory or Azure Synapses, and that costs money and resources. So I have a workaround today where you will not spend any money at all, and with limited resources, limited staff knowledge, and you can get the job done. Now, I just said we have 9 different columns, right? But we're going to be focusing on 8 columns only. All right. So where are the 8 columns? That is just this exceptional, except this column. The others, we're going to be focusing on them. Now, what do we have here? Just so you know, all these columns are different. Why are they different? If you come down to the bottom now, you can see there's lookup. I'm just going to go to my left. All right. For my left hand side, this is not a lookup column. This is a normal column where we can just type data into. Now we have 1 lookup column, 2, 3. Then this is not a lookup column. This is not, and 4 lookup columns. Now this is just a simple scenario where you have 4 lookup columns. Now in some other project, you can have a table with 1,000 different columns and over 30 lookup columns. This particular example, case study 3 of ingesting into existing table that has lookup, will still work. The same procedure I'm showing you today will work for large data sets, large tables where there are multiple lookups in it. 1,000 columns with say 30, 100 lookup columns. This particular method I'm showing you using our application will still work. All right, that is all with the data. As you can see, we have column 1, which is project name, column 2, manager, column 3, location, column 4, the client name, the client company name, column 5, we have the amount spent, balance is there, budget is there, and currency field. Right. So let's go to the next bit now. So in the next, what you see in front of you, what you can see in front of you now, we're still inspecting the tables. Don't forget. So I just walked through the bottom here, right? This is the main table. I'm just gonna put one there, main table. As you can see, this is a clearer view that in this main table one, this data in a normal form view where the person entering the data, that is a simple each record entry. I mean, in each record entry is easy. Somebody entering this data, for example, in this plain this last row, will enter maybe project 2. Fine. In this one, there will be a drop down that will show the list of all the managers, and the person will select Alice or Bob. In this particular location, the same thing the person will be doing, selecting the list. You click a drop down here, there will be drop down here, and a list populating the number of locations, or I said number of locations, the name of the location. The person will now select, for example, Bristol or London. That is that. And the same thing for the client. There will be the list here, drop down, person will select, client he wants to put in data about. Then the person now physically puts, say, any amount, say 1,000, Then the next bit again, the person puts the next amount, and on and on and on and on. Let's say 500 here. The person now puts, and on the currency tab now, the person now selects again. All right. So we now see we have lookup columns here. Where the lookup columns, this. Where is it pointing to? This is what I'm talking about. On this part, you can see on this particular drop down select, this will now appear, as you can see here. The same thing on the location, all this list will appear where the person will now select a particular location, The same thing on the client, all this list will appear. And the same thing on the currency, all this list will appear. So this is how, the table has been normalized to ensure repetition of data is not in the table called 1, which is the main table. But in Dynamics 365, this gives lots of complication where you want to enter data into this table. You need to be particular that you are entering data based on the fact that Alice has a GUID. I said GUID looks like this. GUID, right? This is the GUID. My bottom right that I'm typing there, D, right? So in every single table, this is a table, as you can see. This table has its own GUID. And this, and this, and this. So the GUID, there's GUID in every single item here, every single record. When you're ingesting data, especially bulk data, you need to be conversant with every single GUID. That gives lots of complication when ingested into the main table 1. And that is where we are today, to make sure we have an option where that will not give us any bottleneck. And you don't need to use Power Automate, or you use Agile Data Factory to achieve the same project aim. Now let's go to the next screen here. So in the next bit, as you can see, now I've just inspected the relation. As you can see, the different lookup tables. We have one lookup table here, we have 2, we have 3, and finally 4 different independent table feeding into the main table here, as you can see. All right, so let's move on. Now this is the back end. Now in the second bit here, what I'm going to show you is, like I said, for us to understand it very, very well. Now this, what you see here, is called the schema. And what is the schema? Schema is just showing you the relationship diagram, in a diagram way, that is a visual way really for you to understand it. and for you to know what I just explained. We are still on case study 3. This is the diagram view of what I just showed you. As you can see, the client name is connected. Look at, follow the line, follow the line, look at the line, look at the line. It goes to the project table that I showed you, the big table, and that's why you see there's a key here. So the customer selects only, the customer can't pick any other thing than what is in this table, and I've showed you before. The same thing goes for the manager table, same thing goes for the location. And that is all, because I believe, this is more for tech users, and that is all I'm going to show you here. So what am I going to do on the next bit now? Just so you know, on the next bit, I'm going to show you now how can we achieve this? What kind of solution do I have for this? Now let us go. So in my solution today, that we're going to use our new application, is what you see in front of you. So how are we going to make this happen? Now, what you see in front of you now is still ingesting data into Microsoft Dynamics 365. And then how am I going to be doing it? I'm going to be using, our new application called Dynamics, MDPM. And in this particular application, we are going to now show you a kind of, a new way to solve it. But I think I'm going to cut this video here. Join me in the next video, so this won't be too lengthy. I'm going to walk through our approach, and what you see here is the beginning of the approach. All right, thank you very much.